Welcome to revAMPd, the #1 amputee podcast hosted by an amputee and brought to you by Dilatory Orthotics and Prosthetics in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm Brian Mosier, the social media advisor for Dilatory, and I also happen to be a left below knee amputee. Let's get into today's episode. How's it going, everyone? My guest today is a right below knee amputee and the president and founder of LimbPossible, Robert Rodriguez. Robert, welcome to Amp Life.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Robert, you've been on a pretty remarkable journey that has seen you overcome some really incredible odds. Please share with us how you became an amputee.
Okay, so my mother, she didn't know she was pregnant until about 5 months into her term.
Okay.
And I'm actually just recently finding out now that my family has a case of club foot. When I was born with fibula hemimelia.
Okay.
I had 2 toes, no ankle, only a tibia bone. And my mother, through the first year, was deciding to either do bone growthening, all these other options. But then in 1988, with technology, things were different. Fortunate enough for me, about 12 months after I was born, she decided to amputate my leg, and I've been an amputee since then.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your work as a patient advocate. I read that you're with East Coast Orthotic and Prosthetic Corporation.
Yes. East Coast Orthotics and Prosthetics actually changed my life. I was searching. I was volunteering in the hospitals, helping amputees pre and post amputation. And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she was saying, "You can't keep traveling around for free. We have to pay rent." And I told her, "I'm going to make this into a job. I just believe in this so much." What ended up happening is I've been filled out many applications, went on many interviews. And I actually took my son trick-or-treating his first year, and there was a girl who was trick-or-treating. She was missing her leg. I told her about how I play for AMP1 and, the participating I've been doing in the amputee community. She was inspired to wear her prosthesis because she was on crutches.
Okay.
Fortunate enough for me, her father owned a prosthetic company, which was East Coast Orthotics and Prosthetics.
Oh, nice.
I inspired her. She went back to him. He called me in and created a position for me as a business developer and a patient advocate at East Coast. And that was 3 years ago. And I'm very fortunate now to be able to travel across New York, speak to patients in hospitals, help with the marketing, help assist them with insurance, make sure they're getting the prosthetic components that they need and that they're covered properly, as well as helping them exercise. And I do gait training and things of that nature so that they can get back to daily living. So we don't just provide them with a prosthesis. We help them from beginning to the end.
Very nice. That is fantastic. So I read that you're also involved with the National Prosthetic Equality Project. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the National Prosthetic Equality Project is one of the nonprofits that I'm on the board for. And what we do is we do fundraising for amputees who might not have insurance, or for an amputee that might come from a different country. And they might not be able to either afford the components such as liners and feet and sleeves, as well as an entire prosthesis. So we fundraise, we campaign, and we help these amputees get a prosthesis so that they can ambulate, get back to work, and be contributors to the community.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So I know that you grew up playing sports. When did you become involved with AMP1 basketball?
So AMP1 was another milestone for me. I became involved in 2013, and I was really excited once I found the team, because this was a part of the time where I was searching and filling out applications and participating, and just online, the power of Google, looking up any and everything amputee. Well, then I came across AMP1, where Scott Odom and Tyler Hyatt, they are the founders of AMP1. I got a chance in 2013 to go try out, and I made the team. And from there, that was one of my life-changing moments, where we were sponsored by Freedom Innovations to travel across the country, start motivational speaking, as well as doing other things just to motivate amputees, but not only amputees, people in general. And then playing basketball at a high level, which is a lot of fun, playing versus D3 colleges, and of course, NBA halftimes.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. So I know that this year you're in season 9 of American Ninja Warrior on NBC. How did that opportunity come up for you?
Well, again, part of my process of trying to really find my place in the amputee community, I I've been on previous shows such as Spike TV Ink Masters. So I was on season 1, episode 5.
Okay.
I was on TV shows such as Damages, season 7, episode 5. So I was like, all right, maybe I can get my face out there and use my leg, to kind of motivate people and also to kind of spearhead myself forward. So then I started submitting to other shows, and fortunate enough for me, I have certain content online and a nice commercial that was shot for me by Charlie Mysack, and I used that to submit for American Ninja Warrior. The day before my birthday, the day after my birthday, they gave me a call and accepted me on the show, which was amazing. The funny thing is that I was trying out for a series on Netflix, and the day before my birthday, I didn't get the show, and they told me, hey, Robert, we didn't pick you. And then 2 days later, I got picked for American Ninja Warrior, so I felt really great about that.
Wow, that's insane. So I know that to be on American Ninja Warrior, I know that the competitors need a lot of upper body strength for the course. And, watching it on TV, it looks beyond difficult of anything that I could do. How hard is the course for American Ninja Warrior?
Oh, American Ninja Warrior. I've been watching that show for about 6 years, sitting there with my wife, like, I can do that. I'm going to get on this show. And it was a dream come true to be there, just with the lights, the camera, the action, and then being amongst my favorite stars. The course was super intense. But luckily enough, I've been training here in Long Island at Obstacle Athletics in Deer Park, and I've been doing a lot of upper body training and just focusing on that, doing courses such as the Tough Mudder and other obstacle races to prepare for American Ninja Warrior. The crazy thing was that I was supposed to go to Cleveland the week before, and I was in a sled hockey tournament and dislocated my shoulder. Oh, wow. And doctors told me, do not go on American Ninja Warrior. So fortunately, they gave me a shot to go to Denver. 2 weeks prior, I was still only 3 weeks out of dislocating my arm, but I had to take the opportunity. So I wasn't 100% healthy. I got to the third obstacle and fell off, but it was amazing, and I'm back to training now, gearing up for next year.
So for those who may not be familiar with the show, for you, the third obstacle, was that the rings?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unfortunately, my shoulder wasn't 100% healthy, and I fell into the water. And I brought my son to Denver with me, and he was like, "Oh, Daddy, I saw you jump in the water. You were swimming." And I said, "Oh, that's not what Daddy was trying to do." But it was pretty funny. Oh man, yeah, that's crazy. Wow. So, what was it like for you as an amputee to be able to compete on that show? As an amputee, it was amazing because the other athletes looked at me as just another athlete, and there's no special modifications or anything done to the course. Okay. And I was there, even though I was injured with my arm, and that's what my uncle was saying. I told my uncle, I said, I'm really worried about my arm. He said, you're missing your leg. You're worried about your arm? So it was a funny conversation, but I just really wanted to inspire others. And the greatest thing about being on the show is that I've had several kids. I'm a part of another nonprofit called LimbPossible, and other nonprofits in Camp No Limits, which I'm a part of as well, have now taken up ninja training because I've been on the show. And it's motivating kids to be healthier. And now they're doing little obstacle courses, and parents are showing me videos. And it's an amazing feeling. And as a kid who grew up as an amputee, I just feel really blessed for the opportunity to inspire the youth, so that, maybe one of these kids grow up and they're the next American Ninja Warrior. That's amazing. That's awesome. So you're the founder and president of LimbPossible. When did you first come up with the idea to start your own organization? Well, yes, LimbPossible is very dear to me and the others that I started it with. And we came up with this idea late last year because last year we were traveling around, we were motivational speaking, we were doing a lot of work, taking time off of work, energy, just a lot of money, and we were really affecting a lot of people, and we wanted to continue to do this. So we did about 16 schools last year, but prior to that we were only doing about 5 or 6 a year, and we wanted more than 5 or 6 a year. Last year when we did 16 schools, we said, okay, we're going to have to figure this out so that this way we can continue doing this the best way possible and reach as many people as possible. And that's where we came up with the name LimbPossible, just to kind of show people that things aren't impossible. It's LimbPossible if you put your mind to it. We've actually expanded now because we're not only working with amputees, we're working with kids with autism, with Down syndrome, with CP, and all levels of disabilities, just to try to show people that if you put your mind to it and what I call PMA, which means a positive mental attitude, if you keep that, then you can do anything and anything's possible. So we started in December of 2016, and we've had great success up until this point.
Nice, nice. So what are some of the guiding principles behind LimbPossible? You mentioned the attitude of being able to do anything. What are your guiding principles?
Well, the first guiding principle is attitude, because attitude is everything. So that PMA, positive mental attitude, I had no control over what happened to my leg, but the one thing I could control was my mind, and no one can take that away from me. So we want to inspire the children because we believe these children are our future. There's a lot of things that people have quarrels about politics or technology and how much this is influencing our youth, or music as well. So we want to be that light first and foremost for the kids. Myself and one of my partners, Jovan Booker, who I started LimbPossible with, we grew up as amputees. So we know that if we can affect the kids, that they will grow up to be adults with confidence, with prestige, with not seeing race, with being open-minded and being fair. So that's first and foremost. But then, of course, to our roots of being amputees, we with all the sports that we play, I'm on 4 sports teams, getting ready to join my 5th. We want to show people, but also mostly amputees, that that you can be an adaptive athlete at whatever level it is, as long as you stay healthy. Maybe get away from the smoking, get away from the drinking, getting away, being active. Even if you took 5 steps today, take your 5 steps. If you only can do 2 push-ups today, take your 2 push-ups, because in 2 weeks it might be 10 steps and 10 push-ups. So we specialize in adaptive training. We hold a course where we work out with amputees about once a month, show them how to keep their body in shape, show them how to diet. So motivational speaking and adaptive training are the core of LimbPossible. But then we do a bunch of other things, like I said, like play the sports and do the camps and the clinics and things of that nature.
Very nice. Very nice. So I was, talking about that leads me to my next question about, I saw you guys do some schools and have some different services you offer. So what all encompasses LimbPossible? I mean, I know there's a lot of different things you guys are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it's the adaptive training and the motivational speaking, and the schools are our biggest thing. So we've actually been working with BOCES lately and just trying to really detailed more than motivational speaking. We're trying to get a program into the school system where it just kind of talks about everything that I just discussed, and that it's more of life lessons, just try to get kids to the next level. And then we do that by just not speaking about it, but being about it, living in life. I'm fortunate enough to work for a prosthetic company, so I get to help amputees all day, every day. And that's how I support my family, as a father and a husband, as well as then doing all the sports. I'm a part of the U.S. National Amputee Soccer team. I just started training with Team USA for sitting volleyball. I play for the New York Rangers sled hockey team. So nice. Just being about it and showing them. And we do that through, social media, which is very popular, and our motivational speaking.
Very nice. So you mentioned playing for the Rangers sled hockey. For those that don't know, tell us a little bit about what sled hockey entails.
Oh boy, sled hockey, probably my favorite sport at the exact moment. Sled hockey is amazing. I didn't really want to play it. Luckily enough, someone else that I started LimbPossible with, Patrick Filosa, he introduced me to sled hockey, and I didn't want to come out, but he said, just come try it. And I'm all for trying things one time. My mother always taught me, at least give it a shot, whether you like it or not. And I went out there and fell in love. First day on the ice, what you do is you're in a sled and you are strapped in. You don't have to wear your prosthesis. You can have any disability, again, cerebral palsy. You can have Down syndrome. You can have many disabilities. All types of people play sled hockey. You strap yourself into the sled, and then you have 2 short hockey sticks, if you will. But on the end of these hockey sticks are metal forks, in a sense, where you use the bottom of those to propel yourself and push yourself. And there's a blade at the bottom of the sled. So you're sliding around the ice, propelling yourself. And then when the puck comes to you, you put the other end of the hockey stick down. You can kind of move the puck underneath the sled, in front of the sled, take your shot, pass it to your teammates. It's an amazing sport, and I encourage anyone to kind of look into it. Able-bodied athletes do it too. So even on the Rangers, we have a few able-bodied athletes as well. So the sport is open to any and everyone.
Very nice. That's awesome. So I saw in an interview where you talked about some involvement maybe coming up with a Peace Corps, the United States National Amputee Soccer Team, and even the 2020 Paralympics. What are some of the future projects that you have coming up?
Yes, so the really excited about the future and just trying to continue to diligently work and stay focused. So The 2020 Paralympics, starting with that, I'm training with the sitting volleyball, Team USA. I actually head out there in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I'm just working to earn my spot they won gold last year in Rio, and I'm working to earn my spot to be there for 2020, as well as the triathlon. I've been training with one of the head coaches, USA coaches here in Long Island, and just working to get my body to where it needs to be for triathlon as well. One of my dreams is to be a two-sport Paralympian. And of course, I'm actually heading this weekend to play Haiti because I'm a player of the U.S. National Amputee Soccer team. So I will be representing our country this weekend in Los Angeles, and hopefully we can get the win in the Copa. I'm very excited. Very, very excited about that. The plate is full, but most importantly, the sports and the activity, that's part of me putting into action. Part of the doing is the last thing, like you said, we've been working with the Peace Corps, planning a trip to Africa for 2018. It's something that's in the works, a lot of parameters, but we're getting through it and just trying to do everything on our end so that this time next summer, we'll be there. I think we have 5 schools lined up that we won't only be speaking and playing sports with them, but we will be helping out in the community. It's an amazing experience. We love to give back. So we're very fortunate.
Awesome. So I know that currently you guys for LimbPossible have a fundraiser on GoFundMe. Tell me a little bit about that and what people can do to help.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now you can go to GoFundMe. You can donate. We're raising money to send basically one kid and his family member to Camp No Limits in Maryland, which is September 1st through the 4th. We love Camp No Limits. Again, there's a wide spectrum of amputees that go there. We're excited to participate. We were in Connecticut 2 weeks ago, and I hosted the talent show. I did a OT PT workout. We did support groups. It was just so much fun. And we even did a basketball clinic. So we're raising money to send a kid to Camp No Limits because we believe that, every child who's an amputee should experience this at least once. And they do 10 camps across the country annually, which is amazing organization. And as well as we're fundraising for ourselves because we are traveling and we're going to be at the ACA. So we were raising money to travel to the ACA next week. So we're very excited about that, as well as just to kind of keep LimbPossible going.
Awesome. And, you mentioned Camp No Limits, and we're actually going to have a couple different people here in a few weeks on the podcast from there. But, I know that some of our listeners don't have a clue what Camp No Limits is. Could you give us a little more detail about what the camp does and the type of campers that go there?
Sure. Yeah. So, I'm very excited to hear the interview that you have coming up. Camp No Limits is the first camp designed for amputees, and it doesn't only pertain to children. Once you become a teenager and you grow up out the camp, you can become a volunteer. As an adult, you can still attend. There's workshops, there's running clinics. We host sports clinics there, LimbPossible. There's support groups. There are workouts. Like I said, they do a talent show. I mean, there's so many things and opportunities. They do zip lining and rock climbing, and it's just a place that is camaraderie for everyone. It doesn't matter what your amputation is, what level you are, what you look like, where you come from, what your story is. This is open to anyone and everyone. They do 10 camps across the country, all over the country, and it's not expensive. It's just a family-oriented feeling. Mary Layton, who's the creator and the owner of Camp No Limits, is an amazing woman, and she just had a baby, so congratulations to her. But she's been nothing but great to myself and to LimbPossible. So I encourage anyone to at least check it out. But it's open to everyone, children, teenagers, and adults.
Very nice. Very nice. I know from reading about you guys, and I've been on your website and social media, that one of your core values behind LimbPossible, I saw you guys use the hash for social media, anything's possible. Can you just share with us some of the importance of having a positive attitude, how it can propel us through life? Because, so many times during my week, I run into amputees and they're down, they're depressed, they don't know what to do. And really, and I say this with all due respect, because I've been there, but with all due respect, sometimes I just think they need like an attitude adjustment. And so you just kind of maybe help light a fire under them and just kind of go into this anything's possible a little bit.
Absolutely. So again, fortunately enough for me, I'm lucky enough to work at East Coast Orthotics and Prosthetics, where I get a chance to see a wide range of amputees where some of them might need an attitude adjustment, to be honest with you. And that's really the truth. I see guys or girls who might be in a wheelchair and are able to ambulate, but their leg is in the closet, and sometimes they might feel that like their life is over. And that's part of my job, is to encourage them and get them back to where they need to be. And that's kind of where I came up with the phrase, anything is possible, because when I was young, when I was 3 years old, my house burned down in a house fire 2 days before Christmas, which unfortunately led me to move around a lot. My mother had to work 2 jobs. I bounced around from a lot of homes. As a young man, I went through a lot of tough situations where I was physically abused by a family member for a few years. And this is all while being an amputee. My hardest issues weren't always my leg. And that's kind of where I started to realize that I can do anything, especially with, like I said, working for East Coast and then making a job for me, or joining AMP1, or being a part of these sports teams, being a father and a husband. My wife, all the stuff that I do, she goes crazy. If it wasn't for her, I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for my wife. But what I realized is that if I stay positive, the people around me stay positive. The more that I believed in myself, the more the people around me believed in me. And that was, I started to see that I can almost do anything. Anything is possible. And it might not be to my plan, but if I prepare correctly, then the success will come. And then I started to meet other people. And I said, man, anything really is possible. I see all these amputees and people with disabilities accomplishing amazing tasks, climbing Mount Everest, creating their own devices for prosthetics. And I just want to encourage not only people with disabilities, but just everyone in the world, that if you put your mind to it, anything's possible. You can Google now almost anything and see someone doing something amazing. So it's a testament to life that anything's possible if you have a good attitude. You have to believe in yourself and just stay focused and see some silver lining even in a dark tunnel.
Absolutely. And that's awesome advice. So I've been talking with Robert Rodriguez today. He's the president and founder of LimbPossible. For more information about LimbPossible, visit their website, www.limbpossible.com, and connect with them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at LimbPossible. Robert, thanks for joining me today on Amp Life. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. And what you're doing is honestly amazing. I encourage others to reach out to you, to be on your show. And best of luck. I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week in Kentucky.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Thanks so much, Robert.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
You've been listening to revAMPd, the #1 amputee podcast hosted by an amputee and brought to you by Dalatory Orthotics and Prosthetics in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If you've enjoyed today's episode, leave us a review on iTunes or give us a like on Facebook. I'm Brian Mosier. I invite you to visit our website, www.revampedpodcast.com, and connect with us on Facebook at revAMPed Podcast.